Good evening, YouTube. Welcome to another edition of Crime Time with DutyRon, a retired New York City police detective with 20 plus years of law enforcement. And if you like all things true crime related from a police perspective, please hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you'll get all things DutyRon when I go live or upload another video. Guys, I want to say a special thank you to my Patreon supporters, my channel members, and all of the folks who subscribe and positively interact here in this community. You guys make this a great place to get very factual, true crime updates from retired law enforcement. Tonight, I have a special guest who I'll introduce in a short period of time. He is Dave Rader from the Southwest Chapter up in Ohio of EquuSearch. They are boots on the ground in Tennessee. I will not give up the location. At no time will this channel give up any locations or integrity or the importance of keeping everything close to the chest in this investigation, because at the end of the day, it's about finding Summer Wells, and that is it. There is nothing else that is important about this case, and we are all on the same page, because with the public's help and with law enforcement, we can get to the bottom of it. So we need you and you need us. And that is the bottom line. Thank you to every one of you coming in. I'm going to show a quick piece of media to just give you folks who are outside of the country a little bit of look at what EquuSearch is doing, their mission statement and their purpose. And I'll bring on my guests. So just give me 2 seconds as I, where did it go? There it is. Okay. So let me just play this quick media for you guys, and then we will get right into it. And thank you for joining.
In hopes of finding some. Tyler, thank you. Well, more than 1,000 tips and 38 days later, and there's still no sign of 5-year-old Summer Wells. Happening tomorrow, a search and recovery nonprofit plans to come to Hawkins County for a second time in hopes of finding Summer. News Channel 11's Bianca Moray spoke with the search coordinator. She joins us live in the studio with more on what's expected. Bianca?
Sydney EquuSearch Midwest is a non-profit professional search and rescue organization. They did aid local law enforcement in the original search for Summer, but search coordinator Twyla Cisco tells me the group plans on coming to Hawkins County with 15 to 20 members this weekend. Though law enforcement and local search and rescue organizations have limited their search efforts in the Beach Creek community, EquuSearch Midwest plans to utilize knowledge and skills gained from over 30 similar search efforts since 2012. Important to stress and reiterate, the public is being asked to not follow searchers or assist in their search efforts, all in an attempt to protect the integrity of the investigation.
Our successful rate is pretty good, and when we go out there, we do everything that we possibly can, everything that we possibly can. And when we go into an area, we search that with our foot searchers. And then our director, he does not let us leave an area until he feels confident that that area has been taken care of.
I will have more on the search starting tonight on News Channel 11 at 5. Sydney, back to you.
Bianca, thank you. Now, anyone with information on Summer's whereabouts is asked to call the TBI at 1-800-TBI-FIND, or you can email.
I'm going to leave this up just for a second before I introduce my guest coming in. This is the 1-800-TBI-FIND and the email tips2tbi@tn.gov. I can't overemphasize the importance. This is little Summer Wells here. We need to bring her home. We need to get closure, and we need to get justice for Summer Wells. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce my next guest. He is the Chief Operating Officer of the Midwest Ohio chapter of EquuSearch. There he is, my good friend, Dave Rader. Welcome in, brother. How are you?
Good to be back on with you, Ron.
Yeah, and last time we spoke, we were quite a few days out from this, and I made a quick communication with you, and I said, listen, I'd like to talk to you. Maybe we'll do it a day later. And you said to me, I got work to do, Ron. we need to get on tonight. We need to get this done. And you came on, and I'm so gracious for you being here with us. And all the folks that are watching, over 1,500 here in the chat, they're grateful for you and your organization. How did it go today? And talk about what you can talk about. And just, you know, I don't want to put you in a bad position, but I want you to talk to the folks about what the mission or how it went today.
You know, it was, again, it was, you know, the terrain here is just absolutely just, it's horrendous. I mean, it's, yesterday we were out reconning and actually ran into a bear. Two of my girls ran into a bear when we were reconning on specific areas. So that's what we were dealing up against. Again, it's very thick. It's very, it's just so the underbrush on this is just incredible. You can't see 2 feet in front of you without, you know, either walking through it or walking. So it's horrendous. So it went as well as we didn't come up with her today, unfortunately, but we know where she's not. So we covered a lot of ground today, a lot of feasible ground. Wasn't the right piece of real estate, but you know, again, we're not giving up at all.
Absolutely. And, you know, as any good professional would say, we're never going to give up until, like you said on the last live stream with me, we're not giving up until we find her. So
Right.
I know that is that's the goal, and that's what you're there for, and that's what you will continue to, if invited back, if they want you to come back, you guys will come back, and you will continue to do God's work.
Absolutely.
Talk a little bit about the terrain as I put on this next piece that you were kind and gracious enough. And just as a disclaimer to everybody here, this piece of footage is authorized by David Rader, the operations director of EquuSearch Midwest. He sent this media to me, Dave. I appreciate you sharing this with me. And this by no way, shape, or form, and correct me if I'm wrong, Dave, compromises anything with your search efforts.
No, I wanted to give your followers just a little bit of a taste of what we were up against as searchers out in the field. So you know, there's nothing there that it's going to denote where we were. It's just going to show your followers, and really, it's only a piece of it. I mean, it's, you know, you don't get the full effect of it until you get hit with spider webs in the face or branches and, you know, the poison ivy, the oak, and everything like that. So the footage that you're about to see was shot by one of our searchers that was out in the field. So if you want to go ahead and roll that, we'll and then we can kind of go through it.
Yep, let me roll it for us, for the audience. All right, I'm going to keep us on screen. Actually, you know what? I'm going to make it full screen for everybody so they could see it. We'll still be able to talk, so you could see it good, right, Dave?
Yeah. Yes.
All right. I put a little music into it, so you can let me know if you think it's corny, but we put a little music in it.
Okay.
Whoops. All right. That's not working out. Hold on a second. Let me try reloading it. It worked when I tried it before we went live. Isn't that something? Technology, right?
Yep.
All right, here we go. I'll load it again. There it is. Got it. DutyRon never gives up, just like you, Dave.
Absolutely.
All right, let me shut this music off so we can talk over this. All right, so this is the piece that your team member sent. Looks like some thick brush.
I mean, you can just see how overgrown that truly is. I mean, just by the one individual that's in there, you can see how tall the weeds are just going through that. So you can imagine, you know, 38 days into this now, what you're, you know, and the sad part about this, and you have to be realistic on this, guys, and I want to be realistic because of where we're at in this. So, you know, 38 days later, if we are looking for a body, she's not going to be the same size as she once was. and now all of a sudden you have to start thinking of bits and pieces, and that's, I know it sounds harsh, but that's just the reality. I mean, that's the things that we have to realize at this point in the search. So so if you can imagine, even when she was whole at 4 foot, tops,
Right.
40 pounds. I mean, she's that's tiny in itself. And then you condense that even further and try to, it's like looking for a needle in a haystack, basically, is what we're doing at this point in time.
Yeah. And I want to bring on my next guest, Bill Cannon from Police Off the Cuff, a retired 27-year veteran of the police department in New York City, homicide detective sergeant. He's got a lot of experience. Bill is a whole host of information. He's conducted over probably 400, 500, 600 murder investigations and worked many missing persons cases. So thank you, Bill, for joining. It's a pleasure to have you on the live.
It's a pleasure to be here. I'm so optimistic this weekend, and I was really, even telling some of my fans that I think Dave's going to do it this weekend. He's going to find Summer. And
Hey, Bill, the weekend isn't over yet.
No, I'm still optimistic. I'm
Yeah.
not pessimistic about this, and I think something good is going to happen this weekend.
I'm going to let this roll from beginning to end because there's some photographs and some things that Dave was kind enough to share with me. And Dave, I got to tell you, man, again, I feel like we've known each other, and this just might be me getting a little corny, but I feel like we've known each other. The way we have our conversations, it flows so smoothly. It's just like it's uncanny that it's just so easy to speak to you. So I hope you share somewhat similar feeling with me and with Bill.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like I said, the first interview that we did, I expected it to be a 15-minute jaunt and go, and here it time got away from us, and
yeah.
And I know, Bill, it was past your bedtime, and I appreciate you staying on here with us. But
I don't even know what my bedtime is anymore.
That's why I decided that maybe we should do this a little bit earlier, just in case we do get into it a little bit. But you're right. I mean, we spent an hour and a half, and it just felt so right and just so natural. So like I said, this has been a pleasure of mine to be able to come on your show and share the aspect of what we go through as searchers and putting together a major search like this.
What were the temperatures like there today, Dave? Talk about humidity and Fahrenheit temps.
Yeah, right now I think we hit about 90, and it was the humidity was close to, I think, 68%. You just walk out and you start sweating, and then you get into areas like this. And again, I don't know if I mentioned it the last time, but people think going into woods because it's you've got a heavy canopy and it's shaded, that it's cooler, and it's the furthest thing from the truth.
Right.
That canopy actually holds just dead air. There's nothing moving underneath that canopy, and it just makes it even worse.
Wow. And that's, that's another obstacle for your search teams, right? Is staying hydrated, trying to keep out of heat stroke conditions.
Yep.
You got your communications, your comms are probably on time, on point. But, that's the thing, we talk about safety all the time as retired police officers and professionals. We want to go and do our mission, do our tour, and then return home to our families. And that's what it's about. We don't want to, have anybody go down. So talk about what we have up on the screen here. It looks like a cross up on a hill, a little bench. Where was I know, don't say location where this picture was taken, but what brought you upon it?
Yeah, I can actually tell you where this is that it's a church that's down from her house, and this was, I believe, the church that the family went to. That's where the media was staked out at the time. I just drove around kind of looking at some different areas this morning, and it caught my eye, and I decided to go up there and take a picture, just to show what this community, what this little girl means to this community. So they did this little impromptu memorial for her.
Beautiful.
And a little prayer garden, and I wanted to share that that end of it also with your followers.
And that was a wonderful thing to think of, because it gives the folks outside of the country and outside of the Tennessee area, us Northerners and Southerners, we get along so well. I come down south to go to Florida. My family lives in Mobile, Alabama, on my wife's side. When we go down there, it's like, that Southern hospitality. The communities are so close and so tight. This is a testament of how great the people are and how they come together. You saw it firsthand in the first searches, when everybody was getting out there and bringing in supplies and trying to lend a helping hand. These folks, their hearts are bleeding just like ours, right?
Oh, it's incredible. I mean, there was a lady named Trudy and her husband Chris that took care of McDonald's for us this morning. They took care of Chick-fil-A for lunch this afternoon. And I think that they even have Subway for tomorrow if and when we decide to make that call for tomorrow. There is another area that we want to definitely check out before we leave town. But the Southern hospitality, you hit the nail on the head on that.
Mm-hmm.
These people treated, I mean, the drinks we wanted for nothing today. We absolutely, we were taken care of, and that's one less thing off the plate that we have to worry about, which is a tremendous help.
Right. And Dave, we give thanks and praise to those generous folks, the generosity that comes out of this community. No matter what is going on in the community, they're out there with you. My grandparents lived in Dallas, Texas, which is kind of not the deep south of Texas, but I spent many summers over in Dallas, Texas, and I know what it's about all across the United States. A family also living in California, down by Orange County, the bankrupt county of Orange. But yeah, so I've been all over the place, and it's no matter where you go, you get some great folks that are ready to lend that helping hand. Let's talk about the next photo that's going to pop up here. Is this let me see. Let me get it going. Is this at the same location? It looks like it could be.
It's at the same location. It's like in three separate little. It's in the same area, but it's like three separate little trees and crosses and things like that. So it was spread out just a little bit.
Yeah, and it says a prayer garden there. It looks like what the sign says, and it's a bunch of ribbons hanging from some. It looks like some newly planted, like a tree or some type of brush there. It looks beautiful with the rocks, and it looks like pavers around. Yeah. So it's nice. Eddie Overbay says to you, Dave, from the chat, I'm from the area. Watch out for snakes, copperhead and rattlesnakes, and black racers. Never heard of black racers. Prayers for you and the team, from Addie Overbay.
I appreciate that, Addie.
I think you guys are pretty, well versed on what's inside some of the brush there. So I think you guys know what's going on. But that's also a very nice thing to say. So thank you for that.
Absolutely.
Let's see what we got next. And then I know Bill's chomping at the bit. He's ready to go.
I'm always chomping at the bit.
Oh, man. And is this the same location? Yeah, it looks like
same location. Same location.
Beautiful. I love it. I love that you shared this with me. It was kind of early. I was in the middle of my first cup of coffee, but I didn't care. Now, what is this handsome and beautiful crew here? Is this your team, or is this part of the team? Is this everybody?
No, that's not everybody. Those are the ones that were actually able to come down and put forth the effort that we did today for summer. Great bunch right there. I mean, I mean, there's just, again, I am absolutely blessed with the individuals that believe in the same thing that I do and that we do. And again, the other day I said we're a bunch of misfits that fit. And there's my misfits. Just a great bunch, and there's a bunch of them back home that couldn't make this trip. But the ones that couldn't, they texted us in the morning and said good luck and go get her. And just very supportive. But yeah, we took this at lunchtime today in between breaks. So I just thought, you know what? Again, I thought maybe your followers like to see.
Oh yeah.
We're all walks of life. We're all different shapes and sizes, but yet we have one mission and one mission only, and that's to bring this little girl home.
Yeah, and you know what? This shows the diversity in the team. You got a pistol packing braided woman there with the hat right in front of you.
That's yeah.
You know, I know you have retired folks from the law enforcement community, right?
Yeah.
Talk about some of the different trades that are involved in maybe, you know, one or two or some of these folks here, because I'd love to, if I was there, I'd be shaking hands and hugging, and you know, I'd be doing the Italian thing, you know, just hugging and shaking hands with all of them and thanking them.
You know, there's one thing that we always do when we get together in the morning. We hug each other, and before we leave for the night and we say goodbye to each other, we also hug. So you know, like I said, it's just all walks of life. I mean, you got somebody that's in the medical field, you've got some that's in the industry, you got stay-at-home mothers. You just have every walk of life, and they give you 110% of themselves when they put that shirt on.
These are volunteers, and I'd almost have to guarantee there's somebody that's a volunteer in their own community, whether it's a firefighter, EMT, paramedic, someone who goes and checks on somebody, the elderly. These are people that anybody that does this is someone who likes to give back. And
absolutely,
that's what I love about the EquuSearch and some of these organizations that do this. Stacy Soul for Music, thank you for the $5 super chat. She says, Dave, is there any way to donate to you and your team? I have a link down below. It's going to be in the description, and it is the actual PayPal that you could send. It's a 501c3 organization. It's a nonprofit. You can donate to them. I would prefer you guys donate directly to them instead of sending super chats here. I will redirect all of these super chats to Dave as I did the last time. What did we get up? About $1,000 the last time, Dave?
Yeah, I think $1,000, and then I don't even know how much that was directly donated to us, but every penny, every dollar, it truly does help with hotel and gas, especially gas prices the way that they are. But you know, again, it's not about the money, Ron.
Right.
It's about the whole. It's about what our mission is, and the rest falls into place.
The funny part about Dave and I, we've been talking quite a bit, you know, since we got together early last week, almost every day. And I said to him on the day he was traveling, and I said, when you get into town, I want to buy you and your team dinner. And he's like, cut it out, Ron. Don't make me have to come over there and manhandle you. So he basically shut me down. He was like, you've done enough so far.
Yeah.
Dinner's covered. I got dinner covered. So, you know, I was trying to, you know, I just, when you're far away,
you extended that, and I do appreciate it, but again,
there's just so much love here, and you know, when you guys are out doing this type of stuff, you're risking life and limb. You guys, this is not a walk in the park. You know, this is dangerous work. So I want you to talk a little bit about some of the dangers that you guys encounter on these missions.
Well, like you say, you have to watch the you know, the wildlife that's around you. You're constantly getting spider webs in your face, especially early in the morning. One of my girls today, I mean, must have went through a whole thorn patch because her arm was just absolutely ripped to shreds,
right?
Bleeding all over. But again, that's what they do. You know, that's part of the game, and that's again, they don't bitch about it, they don't complain about it. They get the job done and cover that area, and like. You know, we don't leave that area until every single person in that group agrees that is covered. If one individual has any kind of doubts about that area, we go and do that. We cover it thoroughly, and so it's 100%, and then we move on.
Unbelievable.
You know, Dave, I just wanted to say that what you guys are doing is obviously God's work. And Ron and I are both 9/11 first responders, and it's coming up on the 20-year anniversary. And I think if you asked anyone that responded to 9/11, they would have said it was a privilege to be part of the rescue effort after what had occurred. And you must feel that also in doing this type of work, that it's a privilege to do search and rescue work like this, because you're really doing God's work.
It,
Really
it,
are.
it is. It's very humbling. There's no egos on this team. There's again, I can't imagine, and I don't even want to compare what I do compared to what you guys went through on 9/11 and the sights that you've seen. And I'm not gonna. I don't want you guys to relive that, because it's like you say, 20 years. It's amazing in itself that it's been 20 years. It seems like yesterday or 2 or 3 years ago. It's that fresh still in my mind. My dad was a Cincinnati firefighter, so I kind of have I kind of get that whole thing about the first responder. So that's where I get that from. But here's my thing is that how it's different is you had all these people were your brothers, your sisters. You knew people there. We don't know the people that we're looking for, but yet we still want to do it even though we don't know them. So we still have that passion, but it's nothing like when you're going through the pile that you did to look for some of your brothers and sisters that you worked arm in arm and shoulder to shoulder with, that had your back. So my hat goes off to you guys 100%.
We appreciate that.
It's amazing. 20 years, good Lord.
Yeah, Dave, I have a question now. Were you directed in any way to the area that you searched today? And part B of this question is, what type of technology did you use today? Did you use drones? Did you use sonar? Did you use anything, metal detectors, anything that might have assisted you in finding Summer?
No, we were not directed to the areas that we went to today. The areas that we went to today was off of gut feelings from myself, and I also ran it by a lot of my team members here to see if I was on the same page, and the gut feeling was if I was thinking clearly enough. So no, we did not. We weren't directed on anywhere that we went today. It was basically what would have happened in this scenario. Where would she be? And the part B answer to that question is we did not use any. We did have a drone with us. Couldn't use it. It's just too thick at this point in time. And the only thing that we could literally do today was literally put boots on the ground. And again, 38, 39 days into this, we're not looking, and again, God forbid, and again, I hate saying this, is that we're not looking for this pretty little girl. She's not going to be the same way as what we're looking at all these pictures. So now we're condensed, so you have to take and be a little bit more meticulous in your search grid and how you search. You're a little bit tighter together, looking for something that's so minute.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's amazing the amount of coverage and amount of ground that you do have to cover in these things. But as Dave said, and one of my takeaways and the thing that I homed in on is he was saying, Bill, and you and I can relate to this as retired detectives and investigators, we go on our gut instinct, right, Dave? Talk a little bit about when the hair stands up on your arms, when you get that hair on the back of your neck, when we haven't had a shave in a long time. Look at those locks of hair on Dave. I love it.
I asked him where his surfboard was before.
I'm jealous of Dave.
I ain't got time to use a surfboard.
I don't think there's any surf in Tennessee either.
No, not at all.
Back in, when we get those gut instincts, talk a little bit about how that happens. Does it bounce off you and your team members? What's the chain of command? Do you have a supervisor? Do you designate team leaders? Do you bounce stuff off, or is it all done as a collective group?
I always give every single one of my individuals, my searchers, a voice. At no point in time is it my way or the highway. I don't think that's the kind of thing that we need to run. I think it's I'll say something, I'll throw it out there, then I'll ask them, what do you think about it? And then we talk about it. And then at the end of the day, we take a little bit of everybody's thought process, and that's how we come into doing the recon and the places to go, and then we execute. So, it's not my way. I have gut feelings. My searchers have gut feelings. So we kind of take a little bit of those and we hone in. And again, if something's not working in the morning and at break time or lunchtime, if we have to recalibrate that, that's what we do.
So are you satisfied today that you covered all the ground that you wanted, that you set out to cover?
Yes. It's not about how much ground that you cover, Bill. It's how much ground thoroughly that you've covered. I can sit there and say I drove 110 miles today,
right?
But doing the actual searching and clearing, that's a whole different ballgame.
Right.
So the areas that we covered today, I wanted to get covered, and then a little bit more. And then we got a little bit of information as far as at the end of the day that we may look into for tomorrow. So the people that are staying tonight, we'll get up early in the morning. We'll look at this, and if it's feasible, then we'll go and check this out, and then they'll go home and back to their families.
I want to just acknowledge quickly some of these generous super chats coming in. A couple of $100 super chats. Majari JQS, thank you for the $100 super chat. Straight to EquuSearch, you know the deal, Dave. Denise Spalding, another $100 super chat. Thank you so much for that. We have Lily Rose with a $2 super sticker. Thank you, Lily. Wanda Singly for $5 on the super chat. Thank you so much for that. Let me just continue on because I did miss quite a few of these, and I don't like, some people, when we're talking about something, I don't like to break up the continuity of the conversation. So this is why I'm going to condense it here. AKC 2678, thank you for the $10 super chat. And in the message it says, thank you for all your time and effort. I hope she's found because she deserves to rest in peace. Amen to that. Amen, my brother.
Amen to that. Absolutely.
My brother or sister. I can't tell by the screen name whether it's a male or a female, but amen to that. Another one comes in, Rhonda Pellegrino, $50 super sticker. Thank you for your generosity. Let me go back one more way quickly. $50 from retired Sergeant Melinda. She says, Dave, sir, and team. She's a military, as you can tell. Dave, sir, and team. Have you all, or will you all, and she's from down south, be checking the old Civil War rail tunnel that runs through there, KYVA, etc. I'm just going to say, because I'm not going to answer this for you, but again, to the listeners, it's a sensitive look. It's a sensitive search, and I don't think that they're comfortable giving up what they're going to be doing. But Dave, if you can answer that, she's a great friend of the family here. So
no, and I think I've seen her post before on our last chat. Let me just sit there and say, if it's plausible and if it fits into the timeline and how everything is flowing, nothing is off the table. So I'll leave it at that.
Dave, I want to ask you, and you don't have to answer this if you think it would compromise anything, but are the investigators giving you any suggestions in regards?
No, to be honest with you, Bill, I have not talked with law enforcement. I have not talked with TBI. I've not talked to Ronnie Lawson's office at all. This has all been done through Captain Tim Coop, and that's the only communication that I've had. So, and I kind of like it that way, because then if there is something that needed to be, it's not lost in a chain of command. So we've got one person that we're dealing with, so it's not 20 other ones. So I've been dealing with Coop. He's known everything that we've done, every place that we've went. And again, what we'll do is we'll fill out our paperwork, of course. We'll hand it over to him, and then that will be then, I would assume, and I hope that will be incorporated into the investigations file.
I want to remind everybody to please share and put this out onto your social media platform. The reason I say it is because the more eyes that get on us professionals talking about it, Dave is the man right here out searching. Bill and I have the investigative experience. The more people that listen to these type of conversations, the more chance we have of someone coming over and coming forward to 1-800-TBI-FIND, or sending in an anonymous email to give our investigators that small piece of the puzzle that we need to give a guy like Dave and his team the opportunity to go out there and recover or bring Summer Wells home. And at the end of it all, this is what the main focus of everything is about. So there's so many people in the chat asking, DutyRon, what can I do? Share the video. Talk about it, post news articles that come up onto your social media, retweet, repost, do whatever you have to do. And even if you piss people off and they're like, I don't want to see this anymore, then say, too bad. I'm going to still keep sending it out, because I share this stuff every day, just like you guys all do. And the more eyes on this case, the more chance we have of somebody coming forward, or somebody saying, hey, I saw something that doesn't seem right. Maybe you got to go check it out. So, Bill,
it's that old adage in New York City: if you see something, say something. And it makes a lot of sense. If you see, or if you hear something, say something. Gina Anderson, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. It's all going to Equus. Thing One, thank you for the $20 super chat. No Wonderland Sleuths, True Crime. DKK, thanks for the $50 super chat. Dancing Queen, thanks for the $5. April Lynn, $10 super chat. Thank you so much. It's really coming in. You guys are being so generous. This is really heartwarming to see this. And KP Baz, thank you for a $4.99 super chat. Glenda Pospisil, $5 super sticker. Thank you so much. We appreciate. Fuzzy Doxy, 1999 super chat. See, this is a job in itself. That's why DutyRon told me to take it on here.
Thank you. I got to jump off for a second. You and Dave, I got to go take care of something. So just,
sure.
You got the show. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do.
We had the show so much, he took us out of it. So Dave, do you know right now where you're going to search tomorrow?
I have an inkling of where I want to go. Again, this came in late this afternoon, so I do have an area that I need to look at. I'll probably do the mapping after I leave the show here, and then what I'll do is see how many people are going to stay for tomorrow morning, and then take them and go to this spot and see if it makes any sense.
Now, are your volunteers? They're coming from all over the country, I would imagine. Are they paying their own way here in Tennessee?
We pay for our own food because we always have to eat. But again, the fine folks usually on searches will feed us. What you and Ron have done for us as far as has helped us out tremendously to help with the hotel rooms and the gas money to get these people here. Again, some of these people actually take off for vacation time or personal time. They're away from their wives, they're away from their husbands, their family, to spend 48 hours with me to go find an individual that they don't even know of. So that kind of helps. That really helps us out. But I will tell you, when we first started, Bill, we didn't have a proverbial pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. but that never.
You
never
added that part, and that's got to be an Ohio saying.
So you've never heard that before?
I heard the pot to pissin', but not the second part.
Not the window to throw it out of.
There's always slang indicative to the areas of the country, you know.
Yeah. So I mean, even though that we didn't have that, it never stopped or slowed us down as far as on people taking and paying for their own things to help out a good cause and try to bring somebody home.
You know, Dave, we always say like, and you know, we went through all this stuff in this country with people hating the police, and in my 27 years, I've realized cops are great people, you know, and you know, there are much better people in that profession than in most professions. Let me put it that way. There are people that are selfless. They want to help. Who would risk their life for anybody, that people they don't know, just like what you're doing, really. You guys are risking your life for someone that, you know, you don't know, really.
But nothing like what you guys do.
I wanted to piggyback on that. I really feel strongly about when I went through the police academy, some of the questions that I was asked by the company sergeants, like the drill sergeants that were, you know, in the academy with when we were training, they were like, you know, officer, recruit officer, or PPO, they used to call us, probationary police officer. They'd say, PPO, what's the reason why you took on this job? And a lot of people would say, to help people. And they would be like, that can't just be the only reason. But the primary reason really was that, you know, because you're not going into that profession, or even the fire department or EMS and paramedics, to become rich. And that's the bottom line. So, you
know, some people used to say because the uniform is the blue magnet for girls. That's why I came on. No, just kidding.
let me show for the new folks that just came in quickly. Tracy Johnson, thank you for the $50 super chat. She says, Tracy Johnson, prayers for everyone searching. God be with each of you and precious Summer Moon Wells, Utah Wells. Give her justice and peace. Rest with the peace sign and the moon and the hearts. Find this baby. Amen to that, sister. Amen. Amen. Let me just quickly put on, I'm going to play it from its entirety. I'm going to take us all off the screen. If anybody needs to get a quick bathroom break, I'm going to do the full screen with this. Bear with me. If anybody needs to go, just let me know. All right, here we go. So this is the beginning. This is shared by EquuSearch. Tim sent me this morning. Josh put it together. I'm going to put the music and it's going to play. We're not going to do any narrating, but this is just a look at the brush that they were looking through today. It doesn't give up a location. It's not compromising anything, as per Dave. He shared it with me. So here we go.
We're just making our way out.
I got to stop it there. That's the team. For those of you who are newly joining this live stream, that is Dave with his A squad, Dave Rader, Search and Rescue, EquuSearch, Midwest Ohio chapter. Kudos to you guys, man. I can't say enough about you and your team, and I hope that soon in the future, I myself and Bill and some of my fans get to come and personally thank you and shake your hand. I'd love to break some bread with you and have an adult beverage if you fancy that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So,
absolutely. Would love that.
Yeah. We're going to make it happen because New York and Ohio are like, it's not that far away. I think I could get in a car and drive that to Ohio. And I got a couple of people who I'd like to meet and stop and see that I've met along my vacation in the past. I've met so many great people from the state of Ohio. So let me say quickly hello to everybody in the chat. Gina Smith, $9.99, $10 super chat. Thank you, Dave, for your selfless work. I pray for our sweet Summer Moon that she comes home. Thank you for that super chat. I'm going to turn to some of the folks who are just chatting it up in the chat. This is Pamela. It says, God bless you and all of you. Come home, Summer. We are looking. Somebody else here, Susan Oliver, says, love my Buckeye State. Amen. Amen. Thank you. These are some, I don't want to just highlight all the super chats, so I'm going to go to some of the regular chats. Here we go with, this is a good one. Ambi Love says, what do you think happened to Summer? I'll start with you, Bill. You can take that first.
I just think that Candace and Don are involved, and I said that from minute one, and I unfortunately don't think there's going to be a good outcome to this. I hope I'm wrong. I hope that she's recovered alive, and that happens, but I just don't see it.
Dave, I know you spoke about this the last time. What's your thoughts on that?
I think that Candace for sure. Again, I don't get into the investigation of it like you guys do. I mean, you guys are the professionals. My job is to figure out what the hell they did with them after the fact. But do I think that I'm not so sure about Don's end of this, but I think that the grandmother, and I think that I think Candace knows, and I'm not too sure if the 15-year-old don't know something in that also. So I don't want to. I'm not pointing a finger, but you have three individuals that was with this five-year-old girl, and now she's gone. So you have to put those three players right. In the mix. So, and I don't know where Don fits into this. I really don't.
And I'm going to say this. I'm going to put myself solo for this. I've said it from the get-go. I was suspicious of Don. I feel that the husband and wife are a team. They know, one or more know what happened. Grandmother probably knows what happened. It's the law enforcement and the investigators, the people, the sheriff, the CBI, the TBI, the FBI, all of those law entities. It's their job and their job only to figure out what happened. And they're going to do it by making the pieces of the puzzle come together. So all of our speculation, and people always want to get a law enforcement's feel. People ask us these questions not to put us on the spot, but they want to know what we think. And I immediately got a bad vibe just from hearing Don Wells talk. And I said it in my very first video, and I stand true to that, because when the hair on my arms, and I don't have much of it, but when the hair on these arms stand up, and I get that detective's intuition, that feeling, then I say to myself, I stick true to that. It was the same way when I took exams, and it was a multiple choice thing, and I'd always change it from A to B and C, and I'd get it freaking wrong. So I stay with what I feel was what's here in my gut. And what was here in my gut was that there was something really off about this family. And as we see more of them talking into the public, I stand true to that. And I feel that we, at the end of this, are going to see those two in handcuffs. And that's
DutyRon, I think we had mentioned before the show that I think it is confirmed now that the three boys were removed from the house by child welfare. Now, if there could be two reasons for that. One is that all the pressure from people saying online or in every other place that she's an unfit mother, or that they really have discovered something that puts her in the mix as the number one suspect. So there's two reasons they potentially have been removed.
Well, Tuesday night, the three of us got together and we spoke about this. I brought up the fact of the liability. If you have two parents that can't give you a straight answer and that are displaying some really reckless behavior, i.e. giving alcoholic beverages to a minor, not knowing time frames, not speaking correctly, falling asleep in church, and I could just go on and on about these oddities. And when you are in a law enforcement sense, when you're in charge of an investigation looking for a 5-year-old kid, little baby, you don't know what happened to her and you don't have any answers, then it's up to you to make sure that the safety of the remaining kids, that they are safe. Because if they come up missing or something happens to them, the public and everybody, including all the political folks in that town, are going to go, why didn't you do this? So I said it on our video, and when you could go back to it, you can, I encourage my viewers to go back to it. I said it. If I was in charge of it, and you said it too, Bill, if I was in charge of this investigation, I would have those kids removed for safety, just like Orrin and Orson West in California. The rest of those 4 kids were immediately the next day taken because nobody wanted to have egg on their face and lose potentially, God forbid, the 3 other children. And in that
DutyRon, you're so right, because the buck stops with the police, and the police are held to the highest level of responsibility. And if the police had an opportunity to point in the direction of CPS and say, we think you should remove these kids, there's imminent danger. That's the word we used, the 2 words we used in New York City, if there was imminent danger. And I felt, seeing what I was seeing, I felt there was imminent danger. And I've removed lots of kids in New York City from their home because I felt they were in imminent danger. And that was my job as a sergeant of police, and when I saw that these kids weren't removed, I was like baffled, like, why are the kids still there?
Right. And I want to add to it as well. The public also has something to do with it. The folks who are leaving messages on social media and questioning the police or questioning the news media, when the news media posts a video and then they put the comments down below, the public information officer, now I'm not necessarily from this jurisdiction, they might not have a public information officer, but the TBI does. We know, we're dealing with her. What's her name? Leslie Earhart. She's the public information officer. So they're looking at what the public is saying, and they're saying to themselves, enough of these people are saying, why are those kids still there? It's dangerous for them. We better do something. And I think that they did. Or the cases moving forward where they have some good information that we will never know about until the iron gets struck when it's hot. Let me reel it back in and get back into the search. Dave, do you have any information? Do you have anything you want to say to the public? You want to give maybe some thanks or some praise? What kind of cooperation did you receive today based on your public plea that you made on Tuesday last week for the folks down in Rogersville, Tennessee, and in that area? Anything you'd like to say to them?
I mean, I from the bottom of my heart, I mean, again, we were welcomed from the get-go, as far as when we hit boots on the ground. So from the hotel, from the community, for people actually listening and not posting where we were today. I thank you for all of your followers and all the people that have donated, not only money, but time and effort and food. Again, that's what makes us, we're able to then spend a lot more time putting a search together than worrying about what we're going to eat or how we're going to do this and that. So I applaud everybody that it was a total team effort, and I don't mean it just from the EquuSearch standpoint, but it's from the standpoint of you and Bill and your followers. This has just absolutely just been overwhelming to me as far as the generosity and the love that I could feel. It's just it's unreal, unbelievable. And from the bottom of my heart and from EquuSearch Midwest and this whole entire team, we thank you.
It's amazing when a plan comes together and everybody cooperates, and that's what is a beautiful thing here. And I spoke with Dave privately about this before we went live and before we came on the air, and he explained to me that everything went as smooth can be, and I want that to continue for tomorrow as well. I want everyone to know here in the chat, the reason we got together and did this was it really wasn't my idea. It was this man right down here below me, Dave. He said, let's do it. He said, let's do the update. I'll do it with you Saturday night. And I felt like it would be, I thought it would be selfish of me to ask him to do that. So it just came out naturally when he offered it. And I was like taken back because I thought, this is asking for a lot. But he came forward, and I thank you for coming in, and because it's a valuable thing for folks who are all across the country and now in other countries, in Australia, South Africa. I had somebody chime in from Osaka, Japan. Osaka, Japan, asking me questions about you and your organization. So it's really a true testament to how well known EquuSearch Texas and your Midwest chapter in Ohio started in 2012. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Sure.
So you guys are, again, attached to this fantastic organization that's been around since '82, I believe.
Yep.
I was just getting out of high school at that time, just a little young whippersnapper. So, yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful thing when it all comes together. I want to, if you don't mind, because I know you want to get back with your team, you want to, maybe get some rest or whatever you want to do.
They're actually sitting at a Mexican restaurant right now.
He wants to hook a nice frozen margarita with salt around the rim. That's what he wants.
So let me.
Don't forget the umbrella.
Right.
That's right. You need that umbrella
Oh,
because it's hot out.
Oh, absolutely.
Let's be fair to these gentlemen that were here. Could you give me another 5 minutes of your time, and we'll get some questions flowing for you, Dave?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, so let me just scour the chat quickly. Cheater No More, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. She says, Summer Moon, we love you, sweetheart. Amen to that, Cheated No More. Thank you for your generosity. And guys, if you're not yet subscribed to Crime Time with DutyRon, take the moment to subscribe to this community, subscribe to Police Off the Cuff, and all the great crime folks who are covering this in a respectful, in a professional way, talking about facts and not talking about rumors and speculation. Our opinions that we give you are from a professional law enforcement opinion. It's not me just guessing or Bill just guessing. It's from our years and years combined between the two of us, almost 50 years of law enforcement. Dave has been at this for a long time. He can run circles out around me and Bill when it comes to a search, but he couldn't make a homicide collar if he had one right in front of him. So
Nope.
At the end of the day, we work together. And Bill, you laugh about it, but that is the truth. I wouldn't go to my mechanic and ask him to fix my garden hose. I go to a plumber. So at the end, everyone hates when I say at the end of the day, but at the end of the day,
so you're not handy either, Ron. Just like me, I hire people to do everything.
Joey Brooklyn comes and fix my plumbing at my house. Joey Brooklyn,
hey, Joey Brooklyn, yo.
But let's go and take a peek at the chat and see what's happening here. I'm trying to look quickly. I agree. Any questions for Dave? Fire them off now. I know this is going to set it off. Everyone's going to go crazy. Natman is laughing. I'm glad I get her to laugh every once in a while. Thank you for joining. This has been a grueling month. I agree, Sasha. A lot of children have gone missing this month and the months that have passed. Black Rose, thank you for being here and thank you for being a great moderator. Stacy B says, DutyRon, can they search private property? And so they look at birds circling. Wait a minute, DutyRon, can they search private property? And so, if so, can they look at birds circling? Good question.
All right. So on the private property, I'm not a professional surveyor, so I'll go on a piece of property and ask for forgiveness later if need be. And yes, we do go off of the vultures, turkey vultures. That is a big indicator of something of death, and we do pay attention a lot to how they interact and how many that there are. So to answer those questions, yes, we do private property. We do things by the book, though, as far as if the homeowner is there or if the landowner is available, then we will get prior to, if we need to. We'll have law enforcement with us if need be. So yes, we can. Now, abandoned buildings come into a whole different animal.
Right.
We have done abandoned buildings, but never been challenged on any of that. So that's just something we have to do.
That gives us a great idea of what you can and can't do. Irene Xavier says, are people checking under the trailer, under cars, and on the property? Dave, I will rephrase that for you. In your beginning, on the first time you were there, did you see, because I know you spoke about this, did you see any searching going on the grandmother's trailer, she's got a septic system underneath it, or some type of cesspool. Do you think that I want to get all this out of the way, and if you don't have the answer, don't answer it. But do you think these septic pools were checked? Does the dogs and cadaver dogs or bloodhounds, will they pick up anything around that area? Is all of those nitty gritty spots, the nasties, does that get checked on these?
Everything gets checked, Ron. I mean, as far as they did take dogs up on the property around the house. I don't know if they ran them inside the house, but they did use both cadaver and they also used live track. I'm sure that TBI
talk about live track. Tell the folks what live track is, because
live track is so when she first went missing, they had said that she had walked away from the house, from the basement. So you would take that dog and you would get a scent article from her from inside the house that she would only use. You would scent the dog up, and then the dog should follow the most recent, freshest trail of that individual that they're being put to work for. So, which I know that they did use several live track dogs. And then towards the end, I do believe that they used cadaver around the house. And to no avail, they didn't pick up anything to my knowledge.
Excellent.
Dave, someone asked, Jacqueline Whitehouse asked, what about that lake where someone was swimming? Has that been searched?
Yes, actually, I went over there this afternoon with the team. And it is so heavily populated, in that area, that if she would have been there, she would have been found. It's just too highly traveled. It's right there. So, I don't think that it was, I just wanted to see and then kind of backtrack a little bit, just from a timeline aspect of it. But no, it's so heavily populated with, especially the people that go there over the weekend. I mean, it was packed.
I have a question for you, and this may sound silly. Do you guys take satellite imagery, like say from the first time you were there, and then when you come back, you review that and say, I mean, is that part of your mapping system, or is there any type of technology, without giving anything juicy away to a bad guy? I don't know how that little fly got in my studio. I got to talk to the superintendent here.
Did you get it?
I did. It's squashed in my hand. I got it.
That's like Mr. Miyagi type of movement right there.
I'm a bad motherfucker. I had to buy this $500 machine because everyone was complaining that I cursed too much. So, but do you guys do imaging like with drones or satellite? Is there any type of secret squirrel stuff that you might be using, or would you rather not talk about that?
No, I mean, as far as like satellite imagery, as far as from one month to another, no. But I have used, like on older cases per se, I will go back to Google Earth and say if somebody went missing back in, let's just say 2014. Then what we'll do is we'll go back to that area and put into Google Pro what that area looked like back in 2014 and see how it's changed, and see if we can't recreate what it looked like back then to present. And we also do that if we don't get called in for 6 months, and let's say when the person went missing, it was summertime, and then we're there in the fall when everything is open and everything like that. You have to, as searchers, you have to put your mindset of when, not what you're looking at present, you're looking at what happened during that time frame that the individual went missing, if that makes any sense.
Oh, it totally does. And I see Bill gets it too. That's great information, because most folks think, oh, these guys just wave a magic wand and find these folks. I'm going to remind everybody that 400 missing people have been returned alive by EquuSearch between Texas and the Ohio chapter. 238 sets of remains were brought home to loved ones over the course of time. They've searched in Aruba, outside of the country, in Sri Lanka, Mexico, Jamaica, the DR, that's Dominican Republic, that's not DutyRon, Nicaragua.
That's Wayne Reed.
In all of these outside countries, this organization has gone to and conducted searches. Angela Austin says, Dave, is there a place in the area where farmers dump animal carcasses? Would that be somewhere to check because that would mask decomposition? Very good question, Angela. And thank you for the $10 super chat.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good, there wasn't any, I will say that there was one place that we checked early on. We were getting an odor and we followed it. We traced it. Couldn't find it. We were told that a horse was buried on the property, within the time frame. We went back to that area today, and we did confirm that it was actually a horse that was actually buried on somebody's property. So that was actually close by. So yes, that's as far as a dumping ground for roadkill or a farmer usually puts it buries it on his own property. But we have run into that before where where carcasses of deers from people hunting, it's just a plethora of just carcasses, and sometimes you have to kind of go through that,
right?
Just to make damn sure.
It's part of the job, and as some folks say, and this might be not applicable here, but it's a dirty job, but someone's got to do it. Looking through garbage, looking through dumped lots, this is what they do. There's no terrain that these guys shy away from, and that's the beautiful part about this. And that's what makes, and this is no shape, way, shape, or form, or tooting of the horn, but that's what makes these people brave, is that they don't have advanced they don't do an advanced look like we would do a site survey when we would go and bring a dignitary to a hotel or whatever. They don't have that. They just say, okay, we're going to take this case on. They're calling us down there, and whatever we see when we get there, we're going to deal with it. Of course, you could do a little bit of advanced planning. Mommy Marie says, and that's what makes you guys brave, and that's why I tip my cap to you guys.
You know what else? Before you go on, Ron, but you know what really scares us to death is the amount of needles that we have encountered in the woods, that and thank God that none of us have been pricked, but you would not imagine the amount of needles that these searchers come across. That's the scary part.
You're talking about hypodermic needles?
Yes.
Yeah. So
because you can also get AIDS from getting stuck with one of those.
We as police officers would always say before we went through someone's pockets, hey, you got anything in here that's going to cut me? Because during the crack epidemic, the AIDS epidemic was there, and we were always worried about it. My brother, who's a retired lieutenant from the New York City Police Department, he got stuck by a junkie's needle, and it's not a pleasant thing. It's a scary thing because then you don't know. You got to go through a battery of shots and monitoring and all kinds of stuff. But I know you guys are on it. Retired Sergeant Melinda and someone else asked, first question before Retired Sergeant Melinda is, how could you tell if someone was buried? And now this is pertaining to summer, because a lot of folks at home say, well, there could be shallow graves. They could have put her somewhere, and then knowing that you guys were coming, they moved her somewhere else. What do you do to try to combat that? Is it more drone footage stuff, horseback? Did you guys bring horseback this time and things of that nature? I know that we didn't ask that, but just curious about how you can see if someone freshly covered up or dug up some dirt and then maybe put leaves and some crap all over it or whatever, sticks or whatever. How do you guys target that?
So basically, that's where the ground pounding comes in. So when you're moving into an area and you're in a grid pattern, if you come into a place that doesn't just look right, that somebody has disturbed something, whether there's a pile of leaves that shouldn't be there, or just something that just doesn't look right, then at that point in time, you start then to kind of dissect it a little bit. And then usually when somebody digs something, you don't, and especially when you put somebody in that, you're taking up volume. So you're not going to be able to put all of that dirt back into that same hole because of the individual being in there. So then you start to look at things like that. Then you Then you kind of see little bits and pieces of mud or a dead spot. It's not as green as what the rest of it is. That's a dead body will actually, and I'll educate you guys on this, is a dead body will actually kill everything around it as it's decomping. And as the next foliage comes the next year, it actually turns greener because of the nutrients that was in the body will actually make the ground more green per se. So
it acts like a fertilizer.
Correct. So then if you're looking at a fresh grave, it's going to be more mounded. If you're looking for something of over time, it's going to be more of a depression. So usually what we'll do is if we come to an area like that, we will probe it first. So we'll probe it. You can kind of tell if you hit something or if it goes down. I had one that was in Kentucky that I went down 2.5 feet without any problem.
Wow.
We found her in 5 minutes. You could see the 8-foot circle that this individual dug, and in the center of it, and then he kind of like scattered things out, and it just didn't look right. So I took my probe, and when I probed it, I did it 4 different times just to make sure I was, and I won't go into details, but we did find that individual that was missing for 3.5 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's valuable information for folks to know. And again, it's a hard part of the job. You got a lot of people in the chat that are really trying to stick up for you. They're saying, "Let Dave go to dinner." We're gonna wrap it up. Retired Sergeant Melinda asks you personally, have you ever seen anyone put an animal carcass above a human remain to cover up the odor of a human?
I have not personally. I have. I had a case when I first started with Caitlin Markham back in Fairfield, Ohio. Is that not far from her house? We found a grave, and when we did dig it up, we found a dog wrapped in plastic. Not even thinking about it at the time, we thought about it afterwards and said, what if this individual who did this put her underneath the dog? So we literally went back the next day, dug the dog up, and then started digging down a little bit further just to make damn sure that somebody didn't do what she had just put on the screen.
Wow. This is interesting stuff. Bill, what do you think? You got any questions for him before we let?
No, something. I think he's hungry. I think he's got a juicy Big Mac waiting for him or something. I don't know.
Bill, are you sure it's just not that you're getting tired?
No, I have a glass of Cabernet waiting for me.
Dave, what's the percentage left on your phone?
Believe it or not, we are down to 28%.
This is almost a deja vu for me.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, he's got that margarita waiting for him too.
Oh, I got that big old tall glass of Dos Equis.
Oh, that's a nice one. I like it. I think I'm going to crack open a little Tito's and seltzer tonight. Perfect. Suzanne Myers, thank you for the $20 super chat. Let me close by saying, if you want to donate to this 501c organization, EquuSearch Midwest. This is Dave Rader, Operations Director. I'm going to go solo with him. This is the man. I love that. Could we see that Texas EquuSearch? Is that the? Oh yeah, that's a cool one. Do you have that in a 2XL, my brother?
I do.
I'm gonna send you my home address. Bill takes a small.
Yeah. Can you fit 18-inch guns in those shirts? I ripped through the sleeves of my shirts.
Dave reminds me of a football player. He's a big dude. So yeah, I take a 2X, and I will gladly pay for that if that's somewhere where I could buy it.
I will take care of you and Bill on that. So that's no worries. We'll chat afterwards, and I'll get some addresses and I'll send you a care package.
Thank you, brother. I'll
Oh,
gladly
nice.
wear them on the on my live stream, and a hat or anything that you got. I always have to wear a hat because my dome shines too bright, and the light. I have these studio lights in here. It makes my
Hey,
dome.
Dave, could you spare some of your locks for DutyRon?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Lots of love for Ron.
I like it. Thank you, Dave. Jackie says, $25 super chat. She says, I flew in to Florida to help EquuSearch with the Kaylee Anthony case. Tim is one of a kind. My daughter was murdered, and there was nothing normal about these parents. My best friend lives in a country club of Kingsport. The surroundings are awful. Jackie, I am so sorry for your loss. It's a deep loss, and I send you strength and positive vibes from my house to yours. Very sad. You hear about these things all the time, and thank you for volunteering for that search with EquuSearch. We are going to link Dave's website. That is to the Midwest chapter, Ohio chapter of EquuSearch. If you want to donate to him and his work that he's doing, it's important that you, and I'm not telling you not to donate to Texas EquuSearch. Texas will be on other cases with us, and we'll be covering it with them, because I'm hoping that Dave will introduce me to Tim or whoever's taken over for him down there. We got to work on Orrin and Orson West out in California. So this is not just one or two live streams. I'm hoping that Dave will come back and give us maybe a wrap up when he gets back to Ohio next week. When things settle down, he'll come back onto the show, and maybe Monday or Tuesday night we could do something where we could talk about day 2. I know you're at the end of the day tomorrow, you're going to want to pack things up and start that long trip back. So on behalf of my community here, we wish you safety on your travel home, your safety and your crew tomorrow. Again, here is the crew. Got to show them again. I love these people. Look at them. So guys, if you could flood the chat with some prayer emojis and some hearts for Dave's crew from Texas, from Midwest EquuSearch, the Ohio branch. They're going to be searching tomorrow, and this is the team right here, and they're eating while Dave is sitting here with us. These folks right here are all nice and full. Their tummies are full, and they're all laughing, probably watching it and passing.
They're probably watching.
Yeah,
They may have even eaten the worm in that tequila bottle.
If
they're watching, you guys better have some hot food for Dave.
That's right. That's right.
You better take care. Don't bite the hand that feeds you.
The boss is on his way. Any final words for the folks, Dave? I'll go solo.
Yeah, Ron and Bill, it's always a pleasure to be on with you guys. And excuse me, it's been a long day. It's always a pleasure, and this isn't the end. Again, I will always, if there's something that I can do for either one of you two, either through professionally and my opinion, I am always at your beck and call, no matter what. That is my promise to you two.
And it
Thanks,
goes,
Dave.
and it goes both ways. It's a two-way street.
Absolutely.
Any of these cases that we work on, or anything that you're working on, and you need to reach out to us to get some professional thoughts or opinions, or if you need coverage and you need media coverage like this, and through my channel, through Bill's, we'd be happy to have you and help out. One hand washes the other.
Absolutely.
So, folks,
Absolutely.
as I like to end all of these live streams, I say, please subscribe to myself, subscribe to Police Off the Cuff, go over to EquuSearch Midwest and donate. These guys, you never know when you're going to need them for your own family. I know that if at a drop of a dime I call and I need help, he's going to come or send somebody to come and help me out. So I hope to God that I never need them, but they are good people to know. So much love and respect from DutyRon, Crime Time with DutyRon. God bless the world. God bless the United States of America. And God bless each and every one of us here in the chat. And to all the replayers and the people who donated Super Chat, Dave and I and Bill, we thank you, because it's going to go forward right to EquuSearch. So again, another successful big hit on the Super Chats and donations. God bless these victims and their families, and let's bring Summer Wells home. Good night from New York City. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Bill. Peace.
Good night now.
Thank you, guys.